The way I'm on, here we go. So I asked my mother-in-law, I was like, Ma, what are we talking about today? So, oh, geez. Oh, geez. How are we going to talk about? I think she said, oh, cheese. Maybe that's what it was. Not oh, geez, but oh, cheese. Hey, I'm happy to talk about cheese. Cheese comes from Wisconsin, doesn't it? You know what's funny about that? When I was at the Smithtown High School at the career fair, I met this gentleman who was from Wisconsin. You know what's funny about that? We started talking about the whole idea here about what it's like to work in different places. Hey, you didn't think I'd be talking about OGs or even cheese, although I love cheese. But there is always a tie-in. There is always a tie-in on everything. And if you don't think that you're not connected with the right person, you're wrong. You may not be directly connected with the right person. You might have to go 2 or 3 people deep in order to get there, but you'll get there. You just have to have the confidence and the understanding that you will get there. And people will know who it is that you should be speaking to, perhaps even better than you would know who it is that you should be speaking to. But what you need to be, without a doubt, no uncertain terms, need to be. I did a nice job in my head today. This was my undoing. I had nothing to do with my man. But what you need to be is not distracted by your hair. Let's stay focused here. But what you need to be is absolutely dead set focused on what it is that you want to achieve. Absolutely dead set focused on what you want to achieve. And that's what people will see. That's what people will hear. Now, you want to make it very clear as to what it is that you are looking to achieve. You got to do this. Was where that elevator pitch comes in. This is where you need to be really, really set when you're talking to that person that's looking that you want to help further your long-term goals, not the short-term stuff, the long-term goals. But you need to be able to speak in a term, in a manner, with conviction that people will understand. So, here's the thing not to do. Don't talk about stuff where you know all the jargon and everything like that that goes along with it, and they don't understand it. Look, if I'm going to sit here and talk about cheese, what am I going to talk to you about? I'm going to talk about, I don't know, there are soft cheeses, there are hard cheeses, there are cheeses infused with different kinds of flavorings and stuff like that. There are cheeses that work well with others. I could talk about that. I don't drink, so I can't talk about what wine goes well with what cheese. I don't know. I have to find somebody else to do that. That would be the resource. So let's assume I ever really wanted to do a show on pairing cheese with wine. I'm not the guy to do that. Or maybe I am. Maybe if I really was dead set on doing that, I could probably do that show. Now, I could do that show because I'm not the expert in any one. So I have the cheese expert, I have the wine expert, and I get to ask questions on both sides of it because I have enough working knowledge, at least on one side, not so much as on the wine side of things, but you can do that. So is that a bad goal? It's not a bad goal. You got to understand where you fit within that goal and be able to explain it clearly. So if that was my wishes, my long-term goal was to have a TV show I host and we talk about wine and cheese. If I just tell you that I want to host a TV show about wine and cheese, so what does that mean? Why do I want to do it? If I want to host a TV show about wine and cheese and I tell you that this is the way it looks, I'm going to have 2 guests on each and every time. One that's an expert in wine, one that's an expert in cheese. and really focus on the different regions of our country that produces these things, to show America that there's exciting careers in just about everything that we have, including the cheese and the wine we drink. I don't think that was 30 seconds, right? Now I'm speaking to people about that. Who am I really looking to speak with? Yeah, maybe somebody would pay for the whole thing or whatever. But no matter who it is that I'm talking to, would probably see something in that they either think it's a great idea, they think it's a stupid idea. Either way, if they think it's a stupid idea, it makes for a very short conversation. It's like, man, what the heck are you thinking? You don't drink and you don't know crap about cheese. So why are you doing it? Good question. Because I want to show that there's exciting careers right here in America, in some places that maybe we don't think about cheese as an American thing. Maybe we think of that as a Dutch thing. It's not. There are many cheesemakers in Wisconsin. You thought I forgot about that tie-in, didn't you? No. What about wineries? Well, look what California has done. Look what the East End of Long Island has done, winning major awards for years. It's not even anything new, right? So it's not just about the wine that's coming from France and other European areas. No, definitely not. So that's it. So now, anybody listening to that might see it in their own perspective, and you're going to be able to use their expertise and whatever their perspective is in order to move that ball forward just a little bit. So you just never know. So always be clear when you're looking to move that ball forward, the big term ball, the long-term goal forward in a matter. It's got to be a clear goal. You don't need specifics, but a clear goal and a visual goal, something that people could see themselves in that goal in some respects. And then they'll be able to retell that story. All right, so let's get back to it. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about OGs, which I'm going to misunderstand on purpose, thanks, Mom, as OGs, which brings us back to our Wisconsin guy who then started talking to me about some TV show that they were doing out there. And you want to know what I said? I think I really did say this too. I said, oh, geez. I might have said, oh, wow. I said, really? I said something like that. Because he was the beautiful tie-in on the whole thing. I actually saw myself with that. I'm not moving to Wisconsin. What they did out there was they did out there. But they had a program where they were shadowing people in careers. Wow. Or, oh, geez. They were shadowing people in careers. Now, how great is that? Let's talk about this whole thing, about many of the efforts of what I've been speaking about now for quite a while. And groups involved with, for quite a while. The ECNY Foundation, that's all about careers. Some of that effort there is helping people that are in transition, possibly because they want to be in transition. So that's the job search boot camps that Maria Fry runs. My effort has been more in speaking at the high schools. Mike Tedisco is part of that effort too, part of the foundation. His focus is on internships. There's a bunch of other folks that are involved in that foundation for different reasons, and they bring different areas of expertise to it to make it work. But the mission, the goal of that is to really tie in the education system with careers, with the business community. Just highlight stuff that's good. So when this gentleman started talking about a video that was being done that had to do with shadowing careers, I'm like, oh, absolutely. That is such a great idea, one considered, but that is such a great idea. I mean, take a look at how popular something like that could be. Big picture popular. Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs. Unbelievable guy. Unbelievable show. It was fascinating, even for those of us that were looking for jobs. It was fascinating to see what other people do to make a living, but how important those people are that are working with their hands, that are doing stuff. fixing stuff, correcting stuff, building stuff. Stuff that we take for granted. Absolutely take for granted. That these people, somebody has to do it, and these people are doing it, and they just have a great attitude about the whole thing. Even if that great attitude got a little inflated because the cameras were on. True. All right, so let's go with the 80-20 rule. 80% of that was absolutely sincere. If it wasn't sincere, they never would have allowed or approved or had micro dirty jobs come in and tape that, without a doubt. So 20%, a little bit more smiling, a little bit more joking around, especially if you got Mike over there who's having a fun time doing it. And maybe he's having a fun time doing it because he knows he doesn't have to do that stuff all the time. But every job, every show has been exciting because there's been stuff that we don't see. Absolutely stuff that we don't see. So I think that's fascinating. Give me another person I've gotten to work with, assist, not really work with. I use that word work with some other group. I got a phone call from the company. It's like, you don't work with us. I'm like, well, let's define work with. I don't work and get paid, but I share different thoughts that were implemented over there. So I call that work with. Okay, so let's be clear. I like to assist when possible some of the efforts of Ron Loveland that's involved with the manufacturing. That's one of the key members or principals of the manufacturing committee at the HIA, the Hauppauge Industrial Association. So when he does these career days where he's tying in the manufacturers with the students with careers that are available, I mean, count me in. Count me in. Doesn't that all fit? Without a doubt. Then, of course, you got that racing out there, which, look, I started doing that. Look, I think it's a great growth opportunity. That was what the whole thing there was with JVC Broadcasting. But I got a chance to learn there's so much more going on with that. So many different businesses that are here that are involved with automobile industry, the high performance industry, that are involved with those that are in related industries as well, such as the hotels that were part of the sponsors of there, the sign companies that were part of the sponsors out there, detailing, real estate, all of it's tied in, all of it matters. All of it matters because if there's more fun things to do here on Long Island, that creates a better lifestyle overall that are members of our community, our residents of Long Island could participate in, right? So if there's more things to do, it makes it a better place to live. We got beaches, parks, golf, some auto racing, the wineries, so many different things. We don't have a cheese manufacturer, at least not that I'm aware of. Gotta go back and talk to that guy and find out why we don't have a cheese manufacturer over here. We don't have a lot of cows here either. There's bulls. You go and see bulls. You can go out East End. You can go see bulls. But it all ties in. It's all a part of it. It's all a part of it. And the reason why I kind of have been exposed to many of these things is because of two, maybe three really important things. Let's go with three things, right? One, I have the confidence to say yes and go out there and do. You need the confidence to go out there and say you do. And if there's anything you want to talk to high school students about, it absolutely is this. All right. And that is the confidence. That confidence building begins at every age, earliest as possible. You have the confidence to speak to somebody about something you don't know about. You have the confidence to ask questions about something that you don't know about. You have the confidence to try something new and perhaps get a less than desired outcome, but understand it was a learning experience. That's great. That's great. People will see that. People will see that you're looking to go out there and do and experience different things, even if you get the quote unquote less than desired outcome. All good. Sometimes it's fantastic. It's fantastic because when you get up there, I remember this from the comedy stage, right? Not everyone goes well. I may talk about the ones that go well, but not everyone goes well. It's like, man, I don't know what I was thinking up there. I did an open mic night. It was horrendous. I was like, I just couldn't wait to get off stage. Couldn't wait to get off. I was like, oh my God, that sucked. No uncertain terms. That was the worst. Can't believe I did that. Never gonna do that again. And the comment I got back was, yes, you will. He's like, okay. He said, we've all been there. We've all done that. Bonding moment with the comedians that were there? Yeah, absolutely. All of a sudden now, I was part of that. Not a big part of it, but it's part of it. So sometimes when you get a less than desired outcome, but you have the confidence to go out there and do that, let me tell you what happens. You become part of a team. You absolutely become part of a team. And people will go and they will watch to see your reaction. And if your reaction is, oh man, I could have done that better, or oh geez, I'm gonna do that one more time. What was it? Or if it's like, oh man, that sucks. I'll never do that again. Who do you think is gonna come help you? Or what comment do you think people are looking at where they're gonna come help you? The I'm never doing it again? Or man, that was a less than desired outcome. I gotta rethink that. They're gonna come help you become part of it. So confidence. Confidence. If you have confidence and you can speak to high school students, junior high, elementary school, nursery school, I don't even care, whatever, or anybody for that fact that kind of needs it at the moment, confidence. Confidence is really important. That's why it's fun to ask my wife and my mother-in-law, hey, what am I talking about today? Kind of roll with it. What about communication skills? Let's go with another one of those C's, one of those 3 C's of success. And that is communication skills. Yeah. So we did a show with Ray and over at Nassau Community College. Denisha does it with him. She wasn't available at the time. So I did it with Ray, and Pete Scholes was on the show too. But speaking with Ray afterwards about maybe coming back and doing another program, which is probably going to happen. Hope it does. And he asked me, he says, what would you like to talk about? Some of the things you're doing, the rest of that. I was like, I really would love to talk about the things that let us go into and do and wind up creating the opportunities to do this stuff. Because if it wasn't for communication skills, if it wasn't for the ability to be able to speak and the confidence to speak that goes along with that, but if it wasn't for that ability to communicate with other people, either your thoughts or ask questions, and to be a part of something where people are looking at you to say something, without those communication skills in there, to be able to look somebody in the eye and speak your opinion, not to be bashful about it, but to actually speak your opinion, or to ask them a question that may be a tough question for them. Maybe you are putting them on the spot. Maybe not. Maybe you just know it's going to make them look good. But if you have the communication skills, you can then phrase that question in a manner whereas you're coming across not as a novice, but with some expertise, but you're allowing that other person to really run with their more in-depth expertise and phrase it as a very intelligent question. You're able to do that, you're good. You're able to do that live. That's great too. And I got the phone call from JVC Broadcasting asking me if I wanted to lead a panel discussion on while I was on growth opportunities on Long Island. Communication skills is and confidence, a little bit of ballsy, the chip on the shoulder. I just said yes. I just said yes because I know if I go back every time I said yes on something, I may not have gotten the outcome that I was totally looking for, but I'm still moving forward. So that's another thing to really truly instill in our youth, in our co-workers across the board is communication skills. You need to be able to communicate. And don't tell me about, oh, well, it's on Zoom, StreamYard, plug in for that one, radio, TV, whatever. We're not really in the same room. It's communication skills are different. It's just not the same. Okay. You're right. It's just not the same. It is different. but it doesn't mean it's any less effective. And it's certainly no less important. Look, there are certain times when communicating face to face is so much more important than communicating online. Look, when I'm doing this, am I really having a one-on-one conversation with somebody? Am I really getting feedback from the audience? Absolutely not. Get some comments, on the, in the message box over here, that kind of stuff. But it's not that. Most of everybody's, watches this against tape. So, the recording of it. So I'm obviously talking to you, but not with you, that kind of thing. There are certain groups, there are certain times, there are certain meetings where you really need to speak with people. And I'll just go back a little bit. Even some of these Zoom meetings, if you get 30 people attending, you got to wonder, is everybody really paying attention or doing something else on the side, or they turn the photo off, the live camera feed off. It's like, who knows? Who knows? If you're a really good speaker, you're going to keep them engaged, but that's another topic. So communicating by Zoom or digital format of some sort, it's real, it's important, and it's different. And it's important to understand and be able to use that, because more and more businesses, more and more situations, more and more meetings are being held away, especially if it's a meeting where it's one person speaking out and everybody's taking in the knowledge and listening to that and learning from that. If it's a group, though, a group setting where you're really looking to exchange ideas in real time, much more challenging. And those kind of meetings, maybe they should be done in person. Perhaps you can't do it because you got people that are attending across the country. I had that happen. I joined the mastermind group. The folks that joined it were across the country. So for us to all fly in to do this meeting, that's just not realistic. That was not going to happen, so we did it that way. So now it's really up to the two facilitators to make sure that everybody had a chance to speak and we weren't talking over each other. So that was different. I put the communication skills level on their part, brought it up a notch, and used breakout rooms and things like that. And that was great. Did a fine job doing it. It was challenging. It was different, but it was different. It was just as important to go and do. Other meetings, if that group, that mastermind group, if that was able to be held in person where we're all in a room and we still did the breakout sessions and everything else that went along with it, I think it would be a little bit more effective that way. And I like those discussion kind of groups in person more so than I would like it online. So I agree. There are certain situations where face-to-face communications are more important than video to face-to-video conversations. But face-to-video, much greater outreach. Face-to-face in a group setting, much more of a connection. Let's call it an emotional connection. You're able to see the audience a little bit different, the body language, everything else that goes along with it. But video, so important. So important. You got to have the communication skills in order to do that. So when you're speaking to high school students, and this is a big invitation for you to join me on these things, it's confidence, communication skills. Now, here's the tougher one, though, especially if we're talking to students. It's called clarity. Clarity of goal. You speak to a high school student, are they clear on their goal? Don't know. Maybe some of them are. I did a presentation, got a chance to speak to some of the students, and some of them were very, very clear on their goal, at least their most immediate goal of what they were doing. Did they really know what the future is going to hold? No, absolutely not. Heck, I don't even know what the future is going to hold. No longer a high school student. I don't think any of us really know what the future is going to hold and how it's going to change and mold what it is that we do. But a clear goal, clarity of that goal, what it is that you really want. I think that's really important. So you could visualize, so you could talk about it, so you could find those other people that are not your direct circle, but your direct circle may know somebody that's going to further it along a little bit more. When you're like, oh, that person got lucky. bull. Nobody gets lucky. You just have had the right conversation with the right person who then shared that conversation with somebody else because you were very clear what you wanted, and then they were able to pass that along a little bit. And it's just probably like the telephone game where that long-term goal of yours might have gotten shifted around a little bit. Like, hey, Brian wants to do a TV show about wine and cheese. Why? Because he loves wine. And I don't love wine. But if it generated the conversation, then you know something? That's great. Even if it got changed up a little bit. And if it got changed up less than that, well, even better. But still, because that person that called me, that didn't know me, that heard this through who knows how many other people, they have a true vested interest in it, meets the clarity of their goal just as well. And then will the two meet? Will the two compete? Will the two mesh together? Will it be a symbiotic relationship? Only one way to find out, and it's to have that conversation. But that clarity, the clarity for you right here, will help you not only develop your elevator pitch for that, but it'll also help other people help you along the way. Now let's get down to our high school students. If you go into these schools, junior high, I don't care what grade, it doesn't really make a difference, but any of the student population, including college, you go in there and say, yeah, you should have a clear goal. They're going to, oh, geez. Maybe that's what they'll say. I'm going to tie that OGs in here more than I thought I'd be able to. They're going to be, oh, geez. I really don't know. Okay. So let's start with the easier things, the things that will translate, the things that will help to move everything further along. And that's the confidence and the communication skills. And I think the two of them are together. Because if you have the confidence to stand up on a stage, you'll learn the communication skills as to when to move forward or to the right or the left, when to go a little bit louder, when to go a little bit softer, when to make a little bit more eye contact, and when not to. Some of that stuff is just things to learn. But your confidence, you don't really learn confidence. You have to build confidence. And it's every little step. So getting on stage for the first time and sucking at it. Getting on a comedy stage for the first time and sucking at it. Going out there and announcing something and sucking at it. But doing it. And then saying the right thing afterwards. I could do better. I could do better. That kind of confidence will bring in the resources to help that student move forward. And if they're able to build up those communication skills because they have the confidence to do it, it'll go that way. Look, one of the things I've learned about people that do, wow, I want to become a speaker, is that if you don't have the confidence to stand on that stage, get in front of a camera. If you don't have the confidence to do that, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Someone had mentioned this. Darren LaCroix. He's part of the NSA, National Speakers Association, and also part of Toastmasters. And you know what he says, and you know what he does, actually, is before he gives a presentation someplace, he gets on the stage. And Darren is a very, very accomplished speaker. He gets on that stage. And I don't mean just before he gets introduced, he gets on the stage. No. Come on, folks. Let's get real here. I'm talking about the morning of. I'm talking about the night before. I'm talking about when there's nobody left, nobody in that room to begin with. Nobody in that room. He gets on stage. Because when he does get on stage in front of those people, he wants to know that he's in his comfort zone, that he's in his place, that he knows what it's like to be there. That's a confidence builder. You say, oh, he doesn't need confidence. Yeah, you know something? That's a confidence builder. All of these things, that ritual beforehand, he's got a ritual beforehand too. All of those things are confidence builders. But the only way he would have known that is by doing it in the first place. So when you tell somebody, just do it. Just get out there and try it. It doesn't really make a difference. It does not make a difference what happens. As long as nobody gets hurt. And But having that confidence to say, I'll do it better, that's key. That's key to the whole thing. Absolutely key to the whole thing. All right. I got to thank my mother in law here. Oh, geez. Thanks, Ma. Great idea today. Oh, geez. We talk about cheese, talk about met at Down High School. Great folks. Got some really cool toys, too. And a whole thing. Great people. You'll learn more about that as we move forward. Let's see, we mentioned auto racing. Got that going. More to follow there. That'll be good. ECNY Foundation. Mike the Disco. Who else we got? Maria Fry in there. Who did I forget? Who did I forget? Oh, I remember that TV show where some guy got an award and forgot to mention probably the most important that helped him get that award, his wife. So, Kara, thanks for joining us here today. I love when you join on this thing too. It'll be good. I'll see you after I finish up in the studio over here and work my way out into the other room and make it happen. And thank you to everybody else that's been supportive of this whole thing. Many more things to come, all going to be good, including a weekend of just kind of recharging here a little bit. It's been an unbelievable year, unbelievable summer. Looking forward to so many things going forward and taking a weekend break. So that'll be, that's not true either. I'll talk to you soon. All right, remember, what do you need to do? You need to speak well, speak often, and live inspired. You will absolutely, positively inspire others to do exactly the same thing. Still need music on the way out here. Not really. I think they're wrapped up.